Hello and welcome to Vibra Finance. My name is Lindsay, and today I have a very special guest, Lynn Tranchell, the author and guide extraordinaire to working less and earning more. And I know that we are all so here for this. So before we get started, I am just going to give a little hello from Vibra Finance, and then let's bring on Lynn. Okay, here we go.
At Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance, we are the future of crypto.
Hi, welcome back. Thank you for being here today, Lynn. I would love if you could please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, I'm Lynn Tranchell, and I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in computer science. My master's project is in artificial intelligence, and my favorite class in undergraduate was physiological psychology, which is all brain science. I love neuroscience. I love the science of success, and there really is a science to success. There's really three parts to it. You have to know where you're going, your vision, and then you have to look at your habits, specifically your thought habits, and then you have to take action because nothing happens without action. So I work with people in these three areas so that you create a life and a business that you love without sacrificing either.
Wow, if that doesn't sound like something up my alley, I don't know what would be. That is, as a single mom, the thought of earning less or working less and earning more is like, first of all, it's very appealing to me. And then to know also, coming from a medical background, tying in that science with the with all the intelligence behind it too. So can we start with, can you give us an example of how you would kick somebody off to get them started with your process?
Yeah. Like I said, the first thing is your vision. You have to know where you want to go. And when you look at your vision, you always ask, what would I love? Not what does the economy say, not what does my education say, but really what would I love? And then you get into this higher vibration and see things differently. And then once you have your vision, then that's where your thoughts, your thought habits, your paradigms start talking to you. What makes you think you can do that? All kinds of things. You know that voice. You hear that voice every single day. And that's the next thing I help people do is to switch that voice from what makes you think you can do that to I'm doing this. And then you take action based on I'm doing this.
I love that. You are helping, from what I understand, from what you said, you are helping people to recognize their own self-worth and self-esteem and self-confidence.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you have someone that comes to you and they can't get to the what, they can only, they're coming to you and they're starting with how. Like, what?
Yeah, no, you can't start with how, because if you start with how, then you're looking at your current circumstance. And I help people, I believe in people's possibility more than their circumstance. And that's why you have to have your vision, and your vision has to be what would I love? And you don't have to know the how. You have to know the what. So you want to be very clear about what you want to create. And then from there, the how comes along as you go.
Okay. All right. I see that. I see starting. And do you think the hows come in with self-limiting beliefs? Like where do the hows even sneak in on us?
Yeah, your mind has two pieces to it. You have your conscious mind, which is your thinking mind, where you make decisions, yes, no. And then you have your subconscious mind, and that's your emotional mind. And your subconscious mind can't accept, or it just accepts everything. It doesn't have that decision making process in it. And before the age of 7, your conscious mind did not exist. And remember, that's the mind, that's part of your mind that can filter, say yes or no. So think about everything that you heard, everything you saw goes right into your subconscious, which has no filter. So that everything you see goes in there. And that's why they say we inherit our parents' beliefs, their parents' beliefs, because everything goes in there and you have no idea sometimes where those thoughts came from. Yet every time you go to do something, that thought creeps in.
Yes, I absolutely understand that. Belief system, and especially tying in with money and your how you manifest money and where really your relationship with money in total. I believe that comes in around that 0 to 7 age. That belief system gets filtered in. That's why it's so important what we say and how we act in front of our children and the youth in front of us, rather than like just they're little sponges. They're picking up all these things. They're picking up our actions. But before we get on the actions, we have step one, and that's the what. That's the what can I do? It's the and then and we're going into our next step. What are we looking at here?
Yeah. So once you have the what, your vision, then the next step is to examine your results, examine your thoughts, because your thoughts create your feelings, which create your actions, which create your results, which just reinforce your thoughts, feelings, results. And you're kind of in this vicious cycle unless you look at what your results are and what thoughts created and then change those thoughts. You change those thoughts, it creates different feelings, different actions, different results. Look at those results. Are those what I want? Yes, great, keep going. If not, look at your thoughts and tweak those thoughts just a little bit. And I have what I call the AIR method to help with that. That's AIRR. And the first step is just awareness. You have to notice those thoughts. And then once you have those thoughts, you notice them, you want to interrupt them. You want to say, up until now, or I used to. And what that does is anything that comes afterwards, your conscious mind allows into your subconscious, because your conscious mind again is saying yes or no. It's filtering everything. And you say up until now, and it says, yeah, that's true. So it lets what you say next into your subconscious. So you are aware of those thoughts that are keeping you stuck. You interrupt them with up until now, or I used to, then release that old thought and then replace it. For example, you may be saying things like, I used to be overwhelmed by all I have to do. And now I know what action to take, and I take that action every day. So that's the reframe. You replace that old thought with the new thought, and then action grounds it. Nothing happens without action. Action is like the ground wire to electricity. You want to take action in support of that new thought, and that doing that over time can actually change your neural connections in your brain. Thoughts that fire together, wire together, and that's the neuroscience of it. And that is the science of success in my eyes, is just having your vision, reframing those thought habits, and taking action.
I love that. Absolutely. You're right. It is a neuroscience, just like an athlete when they train. They're training the same muscle groups, they're training in patterns, they're training very specifically. So they're training muscle groups, which is, a neuromuscular function as is. And so we have the ability, and I know that's one of my, I have so many great wishes, but that's one of my greatest wishes is that people, there's so much going on these days. The world is just information overload. You get the AI path, like everything is accessible at our fingertips at the click of a button at lightning speed. Sometimes the download per seconds are a little slow, but sometimes our downloads per second are a little slow. And giving yourself that time and that grace and that space to reframe your conversations that you're having with yourself, and like you said, and then taking an action. So can you give us an example of an action you can take if your thoughts started with, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to start? Then your reframe is, I used to be so overwhelmed, but now I know exactly what to do. And then, like you said, it's believing that it's falling into action. And sometimes it's a matter of being present, right? And just being present enough to know that the thought that you're holding right now isn't necessarily one that is true to you. It might be true to a belief system. So what's an action that we can take to get stepping forward from that?
Yeah, what you can do is just look at your vision and ask yourself, if this is who I am, what can I do today? What can I do in the next 5 minutes? And something will come to you. And then take that step, put it in your calendar, and then do it. You don't have to worry about it being perfect because it's never going to be perfect. You want to take that action. And then if it worked out perfect, say, great, take another action. If it didn't work out perfect, say, what can I learn from this? Because very often people try something and it doesn't work the first time and they just give up. It's like, oh, this is just not meant to be. And yet, if you look at little kids when they're learning to walk, when they fall down trying to walk, they don't throw up their hands and say, I'm just not meant to walk. I'm going to give up right now. They keep doing it. They keep doing it and they keep doing it and they get success. So if you try something and it works out the way you want it, great, keep doing it. If not, ask, what can I do to shift this a little bit to move in the direction of my vision, and then take that step. Then notice, take another step. I like to say you want to take massive imperfect action, and that's a great way to learn and to grow, and not think that failure is final, because failure is just feedback.
Oh, I love that. Quote that. Failure is feedback. At the end of the day, that really comes with being self-secure and in the ability to self-regulate with the feelings that come along with failure. No one likes to fail. No one likes to fall flat on their face and get back up. But like you said, babies have that and toddlers have that beautiful bounce reaction where they can fall and snap like a rubber band. Where, in your opinion, do people come disconnected with the ability to do that?
Oh, well, I think it's getting back to those first 7 years. Like when you go to try something new, your parents or whoever is around you try to protect you. So they might say, don't try that. Try this. Don't try that. So every time you try something new, you could get this feedback that it's not safe. And that's really what your subconscious, its sole purpose is, to keep you safe. So when it sees you trying to do things that it thinks are not safe, because it doesn't know what the response is going to be, what the result is going to be, it tries to keep you from doing it. So it's just practice. You try something, see how it works, try it again, and you just keep practicing, and practicing takes you in that direction. And the result is not to do it perfectly, but to have progress over perfection.
I love that. I love that. Progress over perfection is so true. Not being afraid to fail, taking afraid out of the equation completely, or not just taking out of the equation, right? You don't want to dismiss that initial fear. You want to
Yeah.
into it and find out, is that an actual fear of mine, or was that something that someone else may have told me wasn't safe or wasn't right for me? And then I'm automatically, because like you said, our conscious mind is designed to keep us safe or protected. We call it our lizard brain sometimes around here,
Mhm.
right? You want to hunker down and you want to be safe and warm in the sun, and you don't want to deal with any of that chilly nonsense of predators. And having the ability to discern between an internal predator and an external predator is like taking small actionable steps, small things. And there's no perfection. It's just progress. Taking one small actionable steps a day. Like, for example, if you're on a diet and you're struggling with maintaining your diet, right? If you don't focus so much on I'm on a diet, I'm on a diet, I'm on a diet, but you focus on the what. So what can I do today to live a healthier life? Whatever your goal is, right? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to know, like, even I would say I have found in my life that at times that it was hard to even know like what I even wanted. Like, what do I really want out of this? You know? So I love
Yeah.
that you're giving us actions and steps to be able to take with that.
Yeah, and baby steps can take you all the way to the top of Mount Everest. You don't have to go a mile at a time. You can take a step, see what comes to you, take a step, see what comes to you, take a step. So you're constantly taking steps and evaluating and taking the next step. And when you take the step, you want to make sure that you look at it with, take a kind glance on things and remove any judgment. Because it's really the judgment that keeps us from taking the action, worrying about what other people will think, worrying about all kinds of things. And doubt turns to worry, turns to fear, and we very often stop because we hit that terror barrier, that fear place. And really, the world teaches us to be fearful. If you look at the news, if you look at everything, and just know that the reason they're doing it is because fear sells. The news programs that project fear get the most viewership, which means that the people that are paying for the ads want to be on that viewership. So it's a fear-based world, and it doesn't mean that we have to buy into it and be fearful. We have a choice at any given moment of what to do and how to respond.
Oh, that was so fire. I mean, those of you who are listening, you might want to pause. You might want to just listen to the whole rest of this and then tune in again because she was dropping some gems here. To listen in on yourself takes some practice. Where do you suggest people start with listening to their
Yeah.
own?
One thing that you can do is, this is something that I learned from my mentor, Mary Morris. She calls it the candle flame exercise, where it's where you learn to focus. And you just stare at a candle flame for 1 minute. And if your thoughts wander, just go back to the candle flame. For example, when you start, you might be saying, oh, I should have gone to the bathroom first. Focus on the candle flame. I can't do it. How am I going to do this for a minute? I can't even last 3 seconds. And then just go back to the candle flame and just focus on that. And that will teach you how to focus. Because when you're taking your action steps, you want to do one step at a time. A lot of people talk about multitasking. Your mind cannot focus on more than one thing at a time. You're not really multitasking, you're switch tasking. And every time you switch, you lose momentum, you lose something. So not only are you doing the same thing over and over again, each time you do it, you're at a lower consistency, you're at a lower level of accomplishment. So by learning how to focus and what I call unitask, actually, I got that from Mary Morrissey too, unitask. You can take those action steps and focus on one thing at a time. And when you do that, it's kind of like, I liken it to, if you try to multitask, you're swimming upriver. Whereas if you unitask, you do one thing at a time, it's like putting your goal downriver, and it just makes it a lot easier to focus and take action when you're doing one thing at a time.
That's excellent advice. And if you're focused on one action and you're focused on one thing at a time, your efforts and your energy goes, your attention flows. And when you're putting your energy into something, you're creating an abundance of that something, of whatever that thing is. And now I want to just flip back to fear really quick, because that is something that we are inundated with all the time. We don't even realize how sneaky those things are in the things that you watch on TV. If you flip on syndicated television Monday through Friday, 8 to 9, or not 8 to 10, whatever hours, and you listen in on your show, and the words that they're speaking, the music that they play in the background, you know what I'm talking about, the accelerator.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, if you're aware of your own energy, and then you can you're like, wait a second, that's a sneaky trick. Nothing's actually happening on the screen right now. Why am I getting so anxious? And then I'll flip to a commercial about something like, save the grasslands, or, like you said, these things are not put in front of our place by accident. They're literally fed to us. And so being able to stop and hone in on your unit action, your one action that you need to take, instead of multitasking, because there really is a lot of distractions. And I love that you gave us an example of how to stop today, how to stop right now and focus on one thing. And I love that you said, start with a minute. And
Yes.
like you said, if you're sitting in front of that candle and you're saying, I can't even make it through a minute. What's that talk?
Yeah, that's just your subconscious. And again, your subconscious would rather be wrong 99 times than to miss that one chance to save your life. And yet, back in the caveman days, we did have to really worry about every time we got out of the cave whether we were going to meet something that was going to attack us and possibly kill us. But very few people live in a situation where they have that worry. And yet your subconscious is constantly looking for something to protect you from. So I always tell my clients also, when you feel that fear, it's good news, because that means you're doing something different. You're causing your subconscious to say, wait a minute, I don't know how this is going to work out. Let's try to keep this person from doing it. So when you feel that fear, it's a good sign. That means you're moving forward. You're doing something different. And that is really what it's all about, is to notice what you're thinking and have thoughts to support where you want to go and take that action. And when you feel that fear, it's a good sign. That means you're doing something different. And again, if you were laying on the couch eating bonbons, your subconscious would be fat, dumb, and happy. You wouldn't hear a word. So the fact that you feel that fear means you're doing something different, and just keep doing it, and don't let the fear stop you. Let the fear propel you forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Dig into that fear and dig into the feeling of where that fear is coming from. When you know yourself, for example, you could tell, like, is that fear coming from here? Is that fear coming from all of this noise that I'm intaking here? Because this is our medulla, right? This is our golden nugget right here. This is our brain, keeps us busy. But there's autonomic nervous system, and then you have a synthetic nervous system, and they're totally different. So if you can train your synthetic nervous system to get comfortable being uncomfortable, that will make taking actions a lot easier. Diving into that fear, is that fear, like, when you have a legit fear for your life, if you've never been in this situation where you thought you were going to die, God bless you, and I hope I never do. But if you've been there, then you know what I'm talking about when you feel that fear. Like, there is like, for me, it drops right into my center. I can know when I'm in danger. But I also know when my brain is like, no, you can't get on there and do that. Who are you to go on there and stream? What do you know? You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I heard that voice and I was like, shh, girl, not today. Because that's important. That's so important to be your own. You have to be your own best advocate. And you can't do that if you're scared. They want you to be scared. They They want you to be fat, dumb, happy, scared, because if you own nothing, you'll still be happy. And they already told us that already. So that's not true. You know how to
Yeah.
own your, right?
Exactly. So just the biggest part is just to notice and say, is this true? And most likely the answer will be no. And then ask, do I want it to be true? And most likely the answer will be no. And that's how you know that it's really not fear, it's your subconscious trying to keep you safe.
All right, I like that because we deal a lot with in the markets that we deal with. We are right now, our audience participates in the highest appreciating asset class in history. And we are certainly, as an economy and as a world at whole, we're all sitting a place of quite uncertainty and a lack of confidence. And I'm specifically speaking about the lack of confidence within the banking system right now. And so, and artificial intelligence plays, and a lot of that we will see a lot of things moving forward that will take it perhaps out of the hands of middlemen and put it into a completely trustless system. So as we go forward, it is so important to hone in on what is your fear versus what is reality. So thank you for sharing all these valuable tips and tools and actual steps that we can take today to go forward stronger and better. The community that we serve here at Vibra Finance, the Hexagon community, is very like-minded and very open-minded, very ready, willing, and able. So thank you for sharing these things with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was great. And if anybody has any questions for me about anything I've talked about, you can just schedule a call with me. Go to callwithlynn.com and get on my schedule, and we can talk about what this means for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I put the link for callwithlynn.com in the top of the chat. So please check there. I will put it in the YouTube description box below for those of you who are listening in on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the great podcast platforms. If you're seeing us on Twitch, come and find us on YouTube so you can get all these links direct. I'm also sharing on the screen here a link for how you can sign up for Lynn's ultimate guide to work less and earn more without sacrificing. I highly encourage you out there to, if you're scared and you don't know where to start, or you're like, why would I even start on this? But you have the interest of earning more and working less. Lynn is the go-to source for honing in and reflecting in on yourself and getting started with there. And what a beautiful platform and guide that you have given people so that they can start taking these steps today. And the community, like I said, the community that we serve, we are going massive places. So it is now more important than ever to hone in on that fear, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because we are in for the ride of our lives. And there's two sides that you're going to come out on these stories. So which one do you want to be? You want to be your champion, or do you want to be your bowling chain? So Lynn will help you get to be your own best champion. Please.
Yeah, and that guide is exactly what I take my clients through, that same process.
I love it. And to have your valuable experience and guidance with that really, really does help alleviate some of that fear of the unknown. So thank you for those valuable services. All right, please is there anywhere else we can find you on socials?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, just about everywhere.
All right. I know you're in
Lynn Tranchell. Yeah, just do a search on Lynn Tranchell.
Okay. No, I will put all the descriptions for all of your socials in there too, so they can definitely find you. I love that you're into AI. I love that you're going on TikTok and doing these things. I can't even get myself on TikTok. I'm like, it's a whole different ballgame, but I hope you can find her there.
Yeah. Baby steps. And again, you just should it on yourself. You don't want to should on yourself.
You should meet my friend Redbird One. She likes to remind me of that too. And it's not, I don't love the UI. Honestly, I don't love the UI of TikTok, and I don't love the permissions that it allows and does not disclaim. So that's my issue with TikTok there. But I'll have to get you some more of the social programs. We'll get you started over on some Lunar Crush and stuff too. excellent segue for your business to grow and flourish and thrive, because more people need to know how to get these things done for themselves today with small steps. So if you haven't started, come on over, grab Lynn's guide, give her a call, schedule a call. You will not be sad that you did. I'll just say that. Who am I to tell you what to do, right? But thank you for that beautiful reminder. I will work on that. No more shitting on myself. That's dirty.
That's
dirty
right.
business, right?
Yeah, you always want to be gentle on yourself. Just notice and say, because it really is. I believe everybody is doing the best that they can in every given moment. Sometimes your best is different. If you're not feeling well, your best isn't going to be as good. But just know that you're doing your best, and you don't want to get into that place of judging yourself and being hard on yourself. Just say, I'm doing my best right now, and I am just going to keep moving forward.
I'm taking that with me today. Thank you. I love it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back later this afternoon with some crypto market news and a little update on some airdrops that are coming. So thank you so much, Lynn, for being here. I look forward to the next time we speak again.
Yeah, thank you. This was great.
Bye now.